Well, one of the things that we do is sponsor a student competition called Space-Time Competition, and we like to award the winners with certificates, and they also get registration to the conference. Now, two of them were not able to make it or join with us, but we do have one. We have the second place winner is here from Texas A&M University, and it's the certificate to Yenwen Chen. There's someone on the committee here who can take some photographs as we do this.
Yes.
Including
I can.
Cheryl Maria.
I can do that.
Thank you.
That would be nice, yeah. Good go. No, Cheryl. That's right. Multiple angles. She's probably got a better phone.
I wanted to, Yenwen is also a student volunteer here, so I wanted to make sure that presentation was done. Okay, my name is Glenn Goldman. I am the chair of the ACM SIGGRAPH Education Committee. We have a number of different members here from the committee. We are the ones who are sponsoring the Educators Day program and the Educators Forum program. We started because of some scheduling changes. We actually started the program earlier this morning with Johannes de Young and the industry panel. So I'd just like to introduce the members of the committee. So if you do have questions later, you can come and see them. I am obviously one of them you can talk to. With me is Rick Lewis. Standing in the back is Bill Joel, who is in charge of this year's conference program. Nandini was here. Oh, there she is. Nandini Giri is put together the Educators Day program and will be running the 2025 Educators Forum in Vancouver next year. Maya Andreasen is sitting down in the front. She's there. Cheryl Briggs is also there. And let's see who, Mary Escobar is there and sort of halfway to the back. Maybe if you're on the committee, if you could just stand up so people can see you and know who you are, and you can ask questions of them just as well as you can ask me. So we are the ones you can come to. We'll also have people in the SIGGRAPH Village, and you can always come to talk to us, or even make a time to meet somewhere there. So. Yeah, okay. So we have our own website, which you can find information about our various activities, our programs, and up-to-date information about whether it's competitions or any other events, as well as links to the schedules for this conference. So the committee itself sponsors year-round events. We are a year-round organization. SIGGRAPH works year-round. SIGGRAPH is more than just a conference, it's an organization. And I'll talk about each of these shortly, but this is a list of most of the things that we do, or many of the things that we do, and it gives you, as educators, opportunities to network with other educators and opportunities for publication, dissemination of your work, your students' work, and more. So, again, these are the members of the committee. They're not all here this week, unfortunately. We have a few who are not here. We also have people we collaborate with, Some of them are here, some of them are ill. This is an international group, and our activities actually are international in nature. So the first thing I want to tell you about was space-time, which is what Yen Wen's competition that she came second place. This is an annual student art poster competition. We're going to put out the call probably in September, and students can, from any level. We actually had a 6th grade student from China who was a recipient of an honorable mention this year, who was really amazing, because we do ask that the students describe the process. We are going to, for those of you familiar with this, we are going to make some changes this year, where instead of asking for one final poster, we are, as educators often do, we are going to ask for a second poster that illustrates the process. And we're doing this in part because of the variety of processes we have. There's going to be other programs, and there are some going on today talking about AI, and everyone is looking at AI. We ran a test this year. We did not specify whether it could or could not be used, and we got a range of submissions, and we got each of the judges to decide whether or not to allow work from AI. These were the judges, by the way. And most of them are, 5 of the 6 of us are affiliated with universities, and we had one character animator from Sony Pictures ImageWorks in Vancouver. So in terms of AI, a simple cut and paste won't do it. So we're not going to judge posters or this work on how well you write a prompt, or at least not a single prompt. We did allow work in AI where the process was clear and the student showed that they were in command of the process. In some cases that included tweaking written prompts. In at least 2 cases, it included programming that they had actually worked on in terms of subroutines, and we let each judge make the decision, and we ended up with some winners and honorable mentions that used AI as part of the process, and others who did not. And there are going to be some other loopholes that will be closed in the competition next year. And again, it should be clear with the call for proposals. We're doing the same thing that I do in my own classwork. Is the students, if students actually do find a loophole, well, more power to you. We're not going to penalize you for it. But we are going to close some of the loopholes that we discovered this year. 2 noticeable ones. We are not going to allow, or we will not accept entries that have copyright notices on them. It prevents us from displaying them and using them. So if your student feels that their work is so precious that they must have a copyright notice on it, that's fine, but not for this competition, because we can't do anything. So we actually had one that people liked very much, and the judges decided, and there was some controversy with the judges. We can't show it anyway, but it did receive one of those did receive an honorable mention. And we do want to make it clear that this is just not going to be an assignment that, repurpose any other assignment they have. It's going to need to essentially advertise something about SIGGRAPH. Some schools use this for a one-day assignment. It's not onerous. And as I said, we had entries from 6th grade through graduate students. So it's open for everybody. There is no cost to enter. The winner, a first place winner, will get a full registration, complimentary registration to SIGGRAPH for next year. If that student is under age and cannot travel alone, in lieu of a full conference registration, we will provide 2 experience level registrations plus 2 tickets for the animation theater. So that way a guardian or an adult can travel as a companion. So you see the winners. Two of the three were high school winners, were high school students. So we were very proud, and we're, again, there's no cost to enter. So please, it's just, give your students a shot. You'd be surprised. Some of the stuff we got was not particularly strong, and some were very good. So try, you'll be amazed. And for those of you in universities who work with high schools or magnet schools or other sort of feeder schools, this is a great way for students to get a feel for what it's like, and they're very highly motivated because they want this as part of their portfolio or their application. So space-time is one of the things that we do. The due date will be sometime in early to mid-May, and the winner will be notified end of May, beginning around Memorial Day in the U.S. Soiree is another event that is really important to us. It is the Symposium on Innovation, Research, and Experience in Education. It is another free event. It is entirely online. It allows you as faculty to submit something, and these are not large papers, these are not dissertations. Some of these are short talks, 5 minutes. They can be short videos about the kind of work you're doing at school. It's a way to share information online with other faculty and other people interested in education. There are, sometimes we have some interviews. We'll have an industry, we had an industry representative last year. We had, 2 years ago, we had a panel with the first 3 winners of the Distinguished Educator Award. So, and then again, international, we started around 10 or 11 a.m. New York time to allow for participants from Portugal and Germany. It was late at night for them. And we went to about 5 p.m., again, Eastern time, to allow early morning participants from Australia. So we do have people going in and out, and some people staying all day. This is not a technical paper, a research paper. We're not pretending that it is. It does not go out to 20 different reviewers to look at it. There is a committee that will review it. It is a very easy entry to participate with SIGGRAPH, to get some, you are presenting something that is part of SIGGRAPH, it is part of, sponsored by the Education Committee, and at least 2 of the presentations from Soiree last January were developed into full proposals and were accepted through the unified jury and will be presented this week in the Educators Forum. So it's and through discussion and advice from the people on there, and an increase in participation. One person's presentation turned into a 6-person panel proposal that we'll have on Wednesday afternoon. So these are, I'd like to encourage you to participate. It's really a great event, and again, there's no cost to you to do it. Our last one was January 26th. We also record them. Cheryl Briggs is here. She's one. She took care of editing the videos after all recording, and they're all posted online. So that's the link if you're interested. That link will take you to that QR code will take you to the videos of last year's soiree, so you can see the kind of stuff that we've done there. And this year's, it's going to be Friday, January 31st. We don't have days yet or time. We don't have times, but we do have the days. There is a listserv, which I would urge you all to join. We don't spam you, but we do make you aware of upcoming deadlines and when proposals are released. And we've actually also used it occasionally from time to time for people on the listserv to advertise jobs that they have. And we know some people who found jobs that were posted online, because it's a fairly select audience on this listserv. It's for people who are aware of SIGGRAPH primarily. In Good Company, it is another series of interviews with distinguished educators or industry representatives with interesting information for other educators. This is another resource for you and a way to listen to how other people may have solved problems you're thinking about. Or we had a great one about motion capture and how you can integrate that into your curriculum and ways of doing it. So we have that. Those were they are run by Bill Joel, who were introduced, and these are some of the ones that are online that you can actually listen to or watch. There's also coordinate with the pioneers, and we had, as part of the 50th anniversary series last year, or just over a year ago, there was a panel online for the pioneers of computer graphics educators. And if you're interested at all in the history of, not only the history of computer graphics, but the history of computer graphics in education and pedagogy and how it was done, this was a great panel. I confess it was a lot of fun to be on. CG Source, again, this is another resource that you can, for those of you looking into the, how you can get your work out there. Or not every way, as those of you, if you're in the motion to take your track, not everything, again, has to be a journal article or something there or something that is. There are many ways to have your work out there. And CG Source is a way to put your stuff out there for public use. Now, you'll see some of these are by Mike Bailey. Mike Bailey puts his work out there and he has given for decades shown the Introduction to Computer Graphics Fundamentals seminar here at SIGGRAPH, which I think is this afternoon, in fact. And Mike is all part of a package. Mike is this year's recipient of the SIGGRAPH Distinguished Educator Award. So you can submit things to SIGGRAPH. It is reviewed, but not judged. I mean, we review it for certain things for accuracy, and we have to review things for inappropriate use of third-party material. We are adamant about respecting the intellectual property of others, and what you are allowed to use for fair use. We take a very, ACM and this committee takes a very strict view of what fair use is. You can use third-party material in your classes, that's fine, face-to-face, nothing. But that's very different from disseminating it, and you may have permission to use it in your class. That doesn't give you permission to use it and spread it to others. So if there is any third-party material that you want to submit to CG Source, you also have to have the right to be able to put it in Creative Commons. Otherwise, we can't use it. Sometimes we have an education booth, and sometimes we're just part of the SIGGRAPH Village. This year, we're part of the SIGGRAPH Village. Last year, it was a special time. We had a dome for Nick Tushizen, who's not here right now. He's at the conference. He's at another session, the conflict. Put together a dome, and we had a call for schools to send us 360 video of past, present, and future of computer graphics at your school. And we had a number of schools who did that, and this was parked right outside the exhibit area last year, and quite a few people came to watch it, so it's an opportunity for the schools to show their material. If you're trying to beg your school for travel funds or reasons to come to SIGGRAPH, again, networking, getting your school's name out there. Every school is ranked somewhere in something. One of those criteria for ranking is always peer recognition. If you hide at your school, you'll never get recognized. So you can tell people one of the values of participating in all these things trickles down and ends up in recognition by others. Educators Day, we'll start that tomorrow morning, and it's not on the schedule, but it will start with coffee before, sponsored by, generously by SVA, and then we've had all sorts of different people. This is our third one. We've had ILM, Epic Games, Autodesk, Pixar last year, NVIDIA. Tomorrow we start with Adobe. Will be the first session at 9 o'clock. Then NVIDIA will come in and they'll talk about AI and how you can use that in the classes. Epic Games, Epic Art Station, Pixel Light Effects, Foundry, Side Effects. And then we made a change, so Educators Day is going to bleed over a little bit to Tuesday with EA, Electronic Arts, because they would have gone up against the Mark Zuckerberg keynote and everything, which was a late addition to the, and we didn't want to siphon off too many of the audience. We tried to stay away from some of these keynotes. We also have the Educators Forum. Now, if you want to submit or be part of the Educators Forum, that does go through the general submission process at the conference. And so this is peer reviewed, and again, you're looking at talks, panels. These are pretty much talks, panels. We do have some things, some special topics which will allow you to talk about sort of pedagogy. This is the schedule, at least it was as accurate as I could make it last week. And we're going to start on Tuesday morning. We're going to start after the awards presentation. The awards presentation is in the Bluebird Ballroom, and that includes that's all the SIGGRAPH awards, including the Distinguished Educator Award. And you can find these. This is all on the schedule, so I don't need to read these to you. But you see, there's a fairly wide range, and a lot of these or some of these get started even in soiree. We're going all week on this. The Educators Forum panel at 2 o'clock on Wednesday is the one that's an outgrowth of a soiree presentation. And then there's more case studies of using AI in the classroom. So everyone's looking at it and finding different ways, and that will be on Wednesday. And we keep going, even on Thursday. So there's so much content that is strictly for educators. And although anyone can come, obviously, but I would say where we understand that the audience is educators. And just because it's for educators, it doesn't mean we're not talking about technical material either. We're looking at how to use, but we are looking in many cases as applications. We'll start in a minute. I'm going to give it over to Rick for the faculty submitted student work. Again, for those of you who are looking at promotions, tenure, or even merit pay, you're always asked to document student success. And how do they know you're a good teacher? How does someone know you're a good teacher? Well, you can tell them that, and of course we all know that they'll believe you. Otherwise, you rely on student evaluations, which are also always perfect, so you don't have to worry about those. And recommendations, which get filtered through you. So how else can you tell someone or prove to someone that you actually have an impact as a teacher? Well, this is I will tell you from firsthand, I've been submitting I didn't do it this year because it's sabbatical, but I was submitting work on this ever since this started years ago when we were still submitting it on 35mm slides, which we took pictures off the screen. But it was a way to get, to show that your work means something, and it is a double curated exhibit. You are the first curator. Do not send us work that sucks, right? And you know what's good and what's not. Your name, as you will see in a few minutes, is associated with this work publicly. If you aren't proud of it, don't send it. You are the first level curator. It is in your interest to send us your best work. The second level curation you'll meet in a moment is Rick Lewis, who's a curator who's been for the last couple of years, who will check a variety of things. Again, no third-party material. You'll see that clear in the call. Nothing that looks like it's third-party. So if it looks like an old iMac monitor, that's no good because that's trademarked or copyrighted material. So the stuff that you send must be original. And then and a lot of stuff gets sent in. Some of that stuff will go online, it'll show you, and then it will get curated down, the second major curation, to a 60-minute or less show reel, which we're going to premiere shortly. So if your student's work is then, you send it, and it's in the show reel, Well, you now have third-party evidence of outcomes on your own dossier that you submit, whether it's for merit, raise, new jobs, whatever. So and then the other thing, of course, is you can look at this and use this resource, and you can get ideas for your classes. And I have done that too. And I don't copy what I've seen, but hey, that person did something like this. I like that. If I use it that way, I can change it and try something else and take it the next step further. So this becomes an open source type of resource for all of us as educators. Again, it's part of the education committee. There are many ways to participate with us. And then the last way, so these are the schools that have accepted faculty submitted student work this year. So again, it's a range of universities, public, private, all sorts of places. By the way, after we see it here, on this screen again, it will be, in case any of your students are here and their work is up there, at 9:15 Thursday morning, there will be a repeat showing in this room. There won't be any talking, we're just going to show it for an hour. And if you go to the SIGGRAPH College, which is next to the Pathfinders, down in the lobby, on the monitor all the way to the left, this reel is rotating. So it runs an hour and it just keeps rotating. In the schools, it's alphabetical. You can contact us. You can contact me. You can I urge you to get onto the SIGGRAPH listserv, but we also have people working on our social media. We do have stuff on YouTube. The other thing I wanted to say, we are always looking for people who want to collaborate and work with us on the committee. Our meetings are open. It's not clear whether there's actually, we're at the stage where I can't promise you anything to be on the committee other than friendship and my thanks, and that may or may not. And once a year, an $8 candy bar. Denver's a beautiful city, but their convention center is more expensive than LA. Wow. So please don't leave any food. We paid for it. Don't leave any food. Eat it all. But it's an extraordinary group of people. You saw the list earlier of members and collaborators and contributors. There are many different ways to do it. Get involved in soiree. There was someone I met at SIGGRAPH Asia last year. She ended up presenting at soiree this year. This is in Australia, and then she was a judge for us in the space-time competition. There are little things that you can do that don't take up an onerous amount of time. And again, certainly in our school, we're a public university. I teach at New Jersey Institute of Technology. We are required to do professional service. Service is more than just serving on a committee in your school. Professional service also means for the profession outside, like SIGGRAPH. And here's an opportunity for it, and to meet some really good people. The last thing I'll say is, I've been to every SIGGRAPH since 1988, and that's a lot of time spent at this conference. I would not have done it if I didn't think it was worthwhile. Some of the best people and the smartest people I've ever met are here. It is an extraordinary organization. I'm members of other organizations. I'm also an architect, There's nothing that I've ever been involved in that is close to SIGGRAPH. We have monthly meetings. They're online on Zoom. We do support, we support one another. We have additional meetings as needed for subgroups and subcommittees that work on a competition or that put together a proposal for something. We are open for new initiatives. So if one or more of you together said, hey, maybe the education committee can do this, as long as you're willing to work on it and doesn't violate any laws that we can see, we'll try to do it. So if there is any issues, you can talk to anyone on the committee, you can reach out, you can certainly email me or come see me after this. My email, I think I should have put it up there, just so you know, it's Glenn, GLENN.SIGGRAPH@gmail.com. So glenn.sigraph@gmail.com. And I actually do answer my emails. I'm happy to, or even better, come see me. I'm around. I will be at the Educators Day tomorrow, starting at 8 o'clock. So come see me and talk to me, or talk to me right after this. So before we started, does anyone have any sort of general questions that they want to ask?
Can you tell us about your background? Are you a New Yorker?
Me?
Yeah, trained in education.
I was born in New York City, but I was raised in New Jersey, and I've been at the New Jersey Institute of Technology for 42 years. I'm an architect, licensed architect and a professional planner, and I've been working with computer graphics since the early to mid 1980s. So I've been doing this for a while, and how much detail do you?
Can you tell us about the tradition of education in New York City? Of course, they've got the famous Stuyvesant, the New York, two Nobel laureates, Dr. Steven Weinberg and they shared the Nobel Prize in 1979, Lecture Week Theory. They're both New York City natives and went to the same high school in New York. So they have a rich tradition in STEM education in New York City. Were you part of that?
I did not. I went to college in New York City, but by the late 70s, I was in grad school in Boston, studying architecture. So I did not really get involved in computer graphics until around 1980 or so. And at that point, like any junior faculty member, the provost was at a meeting. He said, looks at me and said, Glenn, you're going to submit a proposal for this. And I said, okay. And I did with another colleague, and we got it. And subsequently, very successful. And over the course of 10 years or so, we brought in over $14 million worth of contracts and grants, and that will help anybody's case in higher education. Half of that was jointly with another colleague, and half of that was on my own. And all of that, the part that was on my own, just so people to understand, was all through contacts made at SIGGRAPH. All of that. Contacts, it was a different time and place, but contacts often on the trade show floor, because most of that was industry support. So again, I owe a good portion of my career to SIGGRAPH, and it is I enjoy being part of it and in different capacities. I was the education liaison for the conference in 2013. I was the courses chair in 2015. And this is my third year. I try to look at Goldman. I did the chair of the education classified as a minority institution. And also a lot of our students go through generation original students. On my mother's side, I am first generation African American. She was an immigrant. But I'm happy to talk to you about her background and her attendance. And I have a bunch of former students around here, and how the U.S. took her in.
So Dr. Carl Sagan was from New York City. He's a Russian background, famous astronomy outreach person. Can you tell us about your ethnicity? Would you trace some of your ethnicity like a first generation immigrant, or you're just good old American homegrown?
I'm sure that that's. We're going to start Rick will explain to you what we do for the faculty submitted student work. And again, it's going to be a 1 hour. After he explains it, we're going to start the loop. It's going to run an hour. Make sure you have food to eat while you watch this. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm Rick Lewis, the curator for the Faculty Submitted Student Work exhibit. And if you're not familiar with it, the Faculty Submitted Student Work is talked about as an online archive of assignment, project briefs, right, and sort of an exhibit of the best examples of those projects. So the idea is that as faculty, you create these assignments and projects for the students to work on, and then you get the best examples of that work to then submit and then share your projects and assignments with others. And it's, it can be of the full range, right? So an introductory class isn't going to have the same quality work as a capstone project, right? And of course, that's where you're sort of curating and understanding, like, this is the best example of this assignment that I've gotten, right? So, on our website, you can go to the archive, simply click on the exhibit page here, and you'll see there's the drop-down list of all of the schools that submitted. If you select one of the schools and then select one of the assignment projects, the PDFs will load. Now sometimes, right, like the PDF doesn't quite load properly. If that happens, just go and select another project and go back to that project, and then the PDFs will load. So you'll see the top, you have the examples of the student projects, and then the actual assignment that the faculty gave the students for that project. So you can see sort of the sample work, right? The students that have submitted. Part of the submission process, you will, if the students' names are going to be included in the submission, you do need to have them submit a FERPA form, because you are connecting their name with a class that they taught, which is sort of protected under the FERPA if it's a US-based school. So if it's international, then it doesn't have that. You'll see that you can also click on links. So while the video that we'll be looking at today is just a shortened version, sort of a sampling of all of the work that's submitted, you can actually go onto the website, onto the archive, and see the entire project that the student created. So if it's a short film or something, you can see it in its entirety if you link that sort of online. And along with the FERPA form, the submission process, you're filling out sort of the ACM form. You're submitting your project assignment under Creative Commons attribution, right? So someone can take your work, but sort of modify it and work off of it, but can give you sort of attribution that, hey, this was originally this person's assignment, but I sort of took that in. So, we'll now go ahead and watch this year's video here.